Her 18th temporarily ruined my mum's 36th life by hating her and refusing to ever talk to her again when I was 12. I regret it, but I'm scared she'll hate me if I get in touch. Edit. You all convinced me to just contact her. Well, most of you. A few of you seem to think I'm the worst example of a human being you've ever encountered. But I sent my mum an email, and it's up to my mum to decide what she wants now that I've contacted her. Everyone has been very helpful, even the people who think I'm unforgiving. When I was 11, I got really bad anxiety, and I started to feel depressed. It seemed to me like my mum was the problem. Here were my problems with her. I thought she was lazy because she was more tired than other people. I thought she was lazy because she didn't have much money. But my dad, who she divorced when I was little, had a lot more. I thought she was selfish for taking child support from him. I was also mad that I had anxiety because I knew my mum had it, and my dad didn't have it, so I felt like she gave it to me through her genes. She didn't tell my dad about the fact that she was seriously dating someone. I thought she was just a stupid lie. I liked her boyfriend a lot at first, but then I just saw him as someone who was enabling her bullshit. She didn't want to let me homeschool even. I was anxious. I had friends and wasn't bullied, but my anxiety was just so extreme, and I didn't want to go to school. I also didn't want to do their treatments for anxiety. I just wanted everyone to do what I wanted. Was kind of messy. I didn't think she understood me. I really just started hating everything about her. Looking back, she was sweet, but I was convinced it was fake. There's a whole long list of other things I hated. I even hated how she laughed. So one day, when I was 12, I went over to my dad's house, and I just stayed. I told him she had a secret boyfriend, and I said I thought she was neglecting me. That is really how I saw it, since she was messy, tired, couldn't pay for all the things I wanted, and I thought it was neglect that she still wanted me to go to school despite my anxiety. I insisted Dad should have full custody. He was always on my side. There were about 2 years where they caught things, and I was at some point forced to do family therapy with her, but I just refused to talk. The courts took my opinion serious. I had a therapist the whole time, and she believed me completely about my mum being horrible. So she helped make a case that I shouldn't see my mum again. Finally, my mum accepted it, and I haven't seen or talked to her since. I was such a moron. A couple of years later, my dad started dating someone, and even though he's nice to me, I overheard him yelling at her that she'd wish she hadn't been born if she ever dumped him and dated someone else. I also overheard him calling her for something stupid. He let me homeschool, but he just let me do online stuff like an academy, and he'd pay for any other lessons I wanted. But he hasn't helped me actually learn things. I'm pretty good at academics, so that's okay. But it doesn't seem like he wants to do any work. My mum always helped me with school stuff, and I'm lonely. It was like I was in the pandemic before the pandemic, with how much I've been alone. I learned my dad gets a lot of money from his parents. I finally thought about the math of my parents' aging. She was 17 when she got pregnant with me, and he was 37. It was legal in our state. But now that I'm 18, I'm horrified. She was a victim. Since he was 37 and she was 17, and since he said such shitty things to his girlfriend, I really think he victimized my mum, and that the only reason she lied about her boyfriend years later was because she was scared of him. That is obvious. It was really hard for my mum when I left. She sent me a text saying she loved me, but I thought she was trying to manipulate me. So I blocked. At family therapy, I don't even remember exactly what she said, since I was being quiet and trying to ignore her. But I remember she wanted to become better and wanted to know what I needed. But I wouldn't tell her since I hated her. I know it was rough for my mum because now that I'm older, I know she loved me. I also know it was rough because I remember my mum had dropped probably 30 pounds by the time we were in family therapy, which is a lot on her frame, so she obviously wasn't eating. Now that I'm older. So much. I really threw the baby out with the bathwater when I stopped talking to her. I also stopped talking to her whole family. Since I regret it so much, though, I contacted my aunt on my mum's side. I asked my aunt what my mum was like after I left. And the story was really sad. My mum was absolutely wrecked. She barely even talked for a year. But she's apparently actually happy now. About a year and a half after I left, she married her boyfriend. She also got a real career that she likes. She'd only worked part-time jobs before then. My aunt told me it was because my mum had wanted to have enough time to take care of me, which made me cry to learn. I asked if my mum thinks about me much. My aunt says my mum confided that she thinks about me every day, but that my mum tries to think of other things since thinking about me hurts too much. She showed me a picture of my mum from a year ago, and my mum looks really healthy and good and happy in the picture. My aunt is encouraging me to get in touch with my mum. She doesn't want to tell my mum about us talking because she's worried my mum will get her hopes up and then I'll never contact her. I really do want to contact my mum. I miss her. I can see she was a good mum. She wasn't faking being sweet. And she wanted to do what was good for me even if I didn't like it at the time. But I'm scared. I'm scared she hates me now. I'm scared that I'll just hurt her by contacting her. She's happy now. She has a good career and a husband who loves her. Oh. And her boyfriend, now husband, will fucking hate me. Even as a kid I could tell he adored her. How could he possibly be okay with me after what I did to her? I also feel guilty because he treated me like his own kid, but I just threw him away. How do I get in touch? What do I say? Do you think she'll want to have me as a daughter again? Too long, don't Red. When I was a kid I started to hate my mum, but in hindsight I see she was a good mum. But now she is happy without me. I think I want to have a relationship with her again, but I'm scared. I don't know what to say, or if I should get in touch at all. Ask your aunt for her email address, and email her literally everything you have explained to us, and apologize and ask to see her. She doesn't hate you. I can honestly promise you that she loves you and would love to see you and can understand you being young and not knowing how the world works and what was really going on. Then it will probably be important to meet up maybe with your aunt present and start to heal in some family therapy. Speaking as a mum, she is probably desperate for you to contact her. She loves you, wants you in her life. She doesn't hate you and has never stopped thinking of you as her daughter. Just be honest with her. Tell her how much you regret your actions and how badly you want to fix things. Then put in the work to repair the damage. I don't believe your situation is hopeless, especially with your aunt encouraging you in that way. It's scary, but I think reaching out would be a positive thing for everyone. You can do this. Reading this makes me cry. I don't have much life advice, but if there's any I can say it is, you don't want to go on with life and think what if. The worst that can happen is she's moved on. You can get some closure or try to make amends. Just give it up. I really want you to reach out because this breaks my heart. Ready.